Right, so I've got a couple of days on this now. So the plan is to do a lot of work on the rear end. If you saw in the last video, when I fitted the brakes on there, the Brembos and everything else on that, it made the wheel stick out a little bit too far. The only slight problem, which I noticed after I'd done it, is the wheel wasn't quite sitting flush when it was mounted, so it made it look like the wheel stuck out further than it was. So I've built the arch out to suit that. The problem is when I put the wheel back on, it's basically slightly too far in now because it's actually the right fitment now. So even though the back here I have got a saw and do this as part of this job for the next 2 days, I'm going to take the bumper out slightly and bring it up sort of there so it fits basically flush. But you can see where that lip there basically goes too far out, so the wheel sits a bit too far in. So the general gist is I've got to take a little bit off there, which is fine, pretty straightforward. Don't tell on the saw. I can do that very straightforward. I'm also going to be doing the rear bumper full pass of filler, ready for sort of the final sort of finish. So the rear diffuser and the tailgate, tail pipes and everything else have been taken off. It just needs a good pass of filler, get it all nice and straight, get rid of all these bits of fiberglass and all these extra bits that shouldn't be there, and try and get this to a decent level of final finish basically. Same thing on the boot. I mean, that's pretty good anyway. That's fairly straight and smooth. There's not too many issues with that. There's literally a few bits on here to flat back and get sort of the lines and everything correct, which is going to be pretty straightforward, I think. Another big thing I've got to do, again filler wise again, is got to finish off the shaping for the rear bumper, rear spoiler, sorry. So that's got to be pretty level. It's not at the moment, it dips down a little bit this side, so I've got to get it straight. I've also got to do the top, so there's all this section here has been made to get to the roof level in there, so you can see where that's going to be. That's got to be built up a little bit there, because you can see it dips down a little bit. If I come across this side, you can see where it dips the whole way across, actually, near enough. So I've got to build that up, and all these sort of things like little filler cracks, all these bits and bobs here, not filler cracks, sorry, they're cracks in the primer. Basically when the primer settles on it, for some reason it's cracking on the spoiler, so I've got to do a full filler pass anyway. Get rid of all these spider sort of cracks and stuff, little bits of odds and sods, just get rid of all these and make it basically decent. Same thing this side. This side's not too bad actually, but it does need a bit of work, and the shape's slightly off, as you can see from that, so I've got to shape it better. So yeah, that's what we're doing. So I'll do part 2 after this. Whether it'll be just in filler or whether I'll get much sanding done, I don't know. But I'll see how I get on, and I'll do part 2 and see what you think. Okay, so a few hours done then. I've basically got quite a bit done actually. I'll start with the spoiler. So basically I've done a first filler pass on top of here. So literally this, I think I did some pictures before, so I'll put some pictures up. It's basically all this has had a complete skim of filler on it the whole way across, and including all the sides and everything else. I haven't done the sides yet, as you can see. That's how it basically looks before it's all sanded back and everything. Same this side. I haven't finished off over here yet, but you can see it's all been skimmed with filler, and it's looking quite flat. There's a bit to do on top here, nothing too major. Obviously plenty of things to do in the corners. I've been doing a bit of work on these outside bits, and I've still got to finish off all these angles and things under here around the back, making it all tidy. So that's one part I've been doing. Another part I've been doing is the rear bumper. That's a complete skim of filler again. The one side here hasn't been done at all yet, so you can see how that looks normally. And then basically I've got the whole section here skimmed full of filler, and then flatted back to a good finish to get the line obviously back in the bumper as well, and skim of filler over the top of here, the whole thing. I haven't done under here yet. I've got to lift the boot up and do that side, but that's easy enough to do. And also around here I've done around this section to basically make it so it's all flat against the arch. It needs a bit of work underneath here, but it did anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And I've just got to do the edges of the shuts to round them off and make them not look so square. It's slightly off on the lip here as well, the little step. You can probably see it sort of goes sort of a little like a lump. So that needs sorting. But the actual arch itself isn't too bad. Needs a little bit of work on the actual line, but that's literally like final finish stages. So that'll be later on. So that's pretty good. I've done some work on the arch too. That's how it's going to do. Let's see if I can zoom out. No, that's as far as it'll go. So basically, that wheel now sits. Let's try and get a good angle here. That wheel basically now pokes a little bit out of there, literally a little bit. There's still a tiny bit of flattening to do. You can see it's at the top here. Where are we? Here's my finger. The top here goes in slightly. The bottom here goes in slightly, and the bottom end of here comes out too far at the moment. That's what I'm flattening back at the moment. It all takes a bit of time. Same as under there, and the edges and everything else, all that. So that's going to look quite good for the actual stance side of things. I've got a feeling that's going to be pretty much spot on there for that, I reckon. So once the arch is the right shape and everything else, I've flatted back all the arch as well, so the arch is pretty much sort of long blocked the whole way along. That's pretty good going. You can see where the ripple is now in the arch. Where are we? In the line there. You can see where it sort of goes, drops a bit there and then goes up there. That's what I've got to work on. But it's coming together this side, so it's not too bad. And needs a bit more work along this section. So yeah, these things take time. However, it's coming along very, very nicely. Next video is probably going to be more of the same, to be honest. A bit more bodywork. Try and get it all flat. Got to do the underneath the spoiler. Didn't get onto that, unfortunately. So that's still a little bit low one side. But it's only because none of this has been done yet, and all these corners all along here, this hasn't been flattened back properly. But anyway, I'll crack on with that. It'll be probably next week now, to be honest. And let me know what you think. Drop some comments, and obviously subscribe if you can.